I might be the only one in my minority here, but I believe WrestleMania 41 could be one of the worst WrestleManias we've had in quite some time. WrestleMania 39 was great, outside of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns' ending. WrestleMania 40, I thought, was great too. WrestleMania 38, meh, was passable. WrestleMania 37, not very fond of it. COVID Mania, no one remembers it outside of The Undertaker's retirement match and Drew McIntyre becoming WWE Champion. 35, the long 7-hour tiring fest was WrestleMania 35. But the thing is, a lot of people have been trying to say to me that, oh, it doesn't matter if the build-up hasn't been great. The matches on the card are going to be good. I don't remember anyone saying that about the WrestleManias when Vince McMahon was in charge. When Vince McMahon was in charge, if people said the build-up was bad, they would say the WrestleMania itself was bad, even if the matches were somewhat decent. I do not believe the term in, the matches being good will make that WrestleMania good. I don't believe that term. I don't believe the term of the matches being good, the quality of the matches will make the card or that will make the show. It's like with AEW Revolution, like everyone was praising that show until the main event match with Jon Moxley with Edge. I mean, who the hell wants to see Edge as a world champion in 2025? And again, with Dynasty, and I even heard a few reviewers I watched talk about how some of the matches on Dynasty didn't belong on the card, and they should have been taken off the card and put on Collision or Dynamite, which I'm not going to mention too much about that. I just think it's kind of funny that I'm hearing people say that about Dynamite, but yet we've got matches here on this WrestleMania card that truly don't even belong on WrestleMania. Especially one that was recently announced. So, could WrestleMania 41 be a good show, or is it going to be a bad show? There are only a few matches on this card I am looking at right now that I particularly look at, and I can say, yes, these matches will be good, but I don't think it will save WrestleMania. So we got the 2 main events, plus the other 9. So that's 11 matches in total confirmed for WrestleMania. So we have Punk, Roman, and Seth's triple threat, which I do not believe for a second this should really be main eventing WrestleMania. The whole build-up, for some reason, is around Paul Heyman. I don't understand why Paul Heyman has to be the center of attention in this rivalry. I get he owes Punk a favor, but does the whole rivalry need to center around Paul Heyman? Okay, he's honoring the favor that he gave to CM Punk. That should be the end of it. But instead, it's on Monday Night Raw, it's whose side are you on, Paul? Are you on Roman's side or are you on Punk's side? And now people are jokingly saying that this matchup is for the custody of Paul Heyman. And to me, that's a bad thing. To me, that's a bad thing. That doesn't make the rivalry special. I just wish it was just these 3 guys wanting to beat the hell out of each other because they all hate each other. But instead, it has to be about Paul Heyman for some bizarre reason. It doesn't deserve to be the main event. It's only main eventing because all 3 guys have star power. That's the only reason why. Io, Bianca, and Rhea is better suited for the main event slot, or even Gunther and Jay, because again, Jay won the Royal Rumble. Like, the Royal Rumble winners should be main eventing main eventing, you know, each night. But instead, they want to ruin the whole purpose of the Royal Rumble match and not have any of the Royal Rumble winners main event. And I think that's a joke. And this triple threat, and I get it. Seth, Roman, Punk will be a great match. But again, just because it's going to be a great match doesn't mean WrestleMania 41 is going to be a great show. The Night 2 main event is Cody Rhodes and John Cena, which, you know, that was always going to main event. So again, it kills the purpose of the Royal Rumble match. At first, I was very keen on this heel John Cena, because I thought it was going to be great. But then the explanation happened. Now, I know in my videos about John Cena's heel turn, I've stated that I liked the heel turn. I liked the turn. But the more I think about it, the more it doesn't make sense. Like, Cena is angry at the fans for never appreciating him. And I thought to myself, the more I thought about it, I was like, well, that would have made more sense if it was when John Cena was still wrestling full-time in 2011, 2012. This heel turn would have... John Cena's explanation would have worked so much better back then, instead of during the time he became a part-timer. Because the fans never booed John Cena during his part-time era. And when the fans were doing the John Cena sucks, it was more like how the fans would chant, you suck, at Kurt Angle. That's how it was. That's what it was more like. It was more like when the fans used to chant, you suck at Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle would eat it up by doing his little gesture with the audience. So I don't understand how John Cena being a heel now with that explanation makes a lot of sense. They should have went with a different explanation. They should have had Cena explain why he sold his soul to The Rock. That would have been a better explanation, instead of just him being all like, I hate all of you because you people disrespected me. It would have made way more sense back when John Cena was in his prime and he was a full-time wrestler. Now, during his whole part-timer days, fans didn't boo him much during his part-timer era. So, yeah, so again, while I still did like the promo, and I understood where Cena was coming from, the explanation for the story just didn't make too much sense. So, to me, it feels like Triple H is relying heavily on these two marquee matches to carry WrestleMania. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like he is heavily relying on Roman, Punk, Seth, and Cody and Cena to carry the WrestleMania build. And to me, that's bad. Tiffany and Charlotte's match. You know, I'm not really invested in this rivalry. While I do love me some Charlotte Flair, their little off-script promo was a disaster. It was a real disaster. Both ladies apparently now have gotten massive heat backstage from WWE. WWE were very upset with them and all that stuff. Well, here's the thing. They should be punished if that's the case. If that's the case, both ladies really should be punished, but that's not going to happen. But in my opinion, having Tiffany mention Charlotte's divorce isn't a very babyface thing to do. Not a very babyface thing for someone like Tiffany Stratton to do. Like, it would have made more sense if someone did it if it was a heel. That would make more sense. Someone making fun of someone's divorce would be better if it was like a heel tactic. But again, Charlotte can never get the fans to cheer her. So, again, that is something that really shouldn't have been said. But again, because it was an off-script promo, everything they said was from their own mouths and not from a script. And to me, it feels like WWE were trying to make this rivalry feel more personal by having them mentioned, by having them go off script. And to me, that didn't really work very well. Especially to me, having Tiffany mention Charlotte's divorce makes Tiffany way more unlikable to me. Again, that's just my 2 cents in all of it. This wasn't like, because the build-up has been so bad, they're now desperate into getting them to go off script, which is, you know, something I think is pretty silly. Gunther versus Jey Uso. This is another match that has not really been living up to the expectations, and I don't like that it's only taken them close to WrestleMania to finally give this rivalry some kind of heat to it. You know? Like, having Gunther destroy Jimmy Uso, and Jimmy Uso with blood on his face, and Gunther putting Jimmy's blood all over his face and body. Like, and then Jey cutting an intense promo. To me, like, the rivalry now seemingly has picked up, but it's a little bit too late. At least in my opinion, it doesn't feel like it feels like it's way too late. They really should have gone with something like this pretty earlier to really give this rivalry more heat. But instead, WWE wasted everyone's time by having Jey Uso yeet for 15 minutes for the first 2 weeks of his Royal Rumble victory, and having him slip and slide everywhere like he's trying to skate on ice, because there were so many times he botched and fell over and all that stuff. Like, to me, and also having him squash Austin Theory, but, you know, I don't really care for Austin Theory, so it's not really that big of a deal. But the point is, they have been messing around with Jey for about 2 months. They've been messing around with him for 2 months, and only now they want to try and make the rivalry feel a bit more serious, and that is why the whole rivalry is now blowing up in their face, because it took too long to make this rivalry have some kind of meaning to it. Same thing with Tiffany and Charlotte. Probably one of the only matches I'm genuinely invested in is Io, Bianca, and Rhea's triple threat for the Women's World title. I definitely do believe this match will be great, but again, a great match doesn't save the pay-per-view. The only issue I had with it was the fact that I believe Rhea should be heading into this match as the champion, and it should just be Rhea versus Io for the title at WrestleMania, because I've been wanting to say this for a while. I completely hate how the Women's World Championship has not been defended on a pay-per-view since Bad Blood. Since Liv Morgan versus Rhea at Bad Blood. That was in October, I think. October or September. One of those two months. War Games, Liv didn't defend. December, Liv didn't defend. And before anyone says to me, well, actually, Patrick, the last time the Women's World Championship was defended was at Saturday night's main event. I do not count Saturday night's main event as a pay-per-view. Saturday night's main event is not a pay-per-view. It is a special live event. It's just a special event that WWE holds every few months. You cannot count that as a pay-per-view. So I do not count Liv's defense against Io, and I do not count Rhea's defense against Nia as title defenses at a pay-per-view. Because Saturday night's main event is not a pay-per-view. It's not. It does not count as a lot as a pay-per-view. It doesn't. So the fact that Liv and Rhea at Bad Blood was the last time the Women's World Championship was defended at a pay-per-view is terrible. Rhea should have defended the title at the Royal Rumble, and Rhea should have defended at the Elimination Chamber. But instead, they wanted to have Rhea versus Io after the Elimination Chamber. Instead of just building up to the two of them eventually fighting each other at WrestleMania, which, you know, this match would have been better off at WrestleMania. Rhea should have came into WrestleMania as the champion, and then you have Io challenge. Now, I wouldn't have been mad if Rhea did lose to Io at WrestleMania. Because to me, Rhea felt like a transitional champion. That was the only reason why I got mad about it, having her lose by having Rhea lose the title on Raw, because it felt like she was just a transitional champion, and they only gave the title to Io just to shut up all the crying fans about what's going on with Io. So I felt like Triple H should have built Rhea versus Io up more, building up to this match at WrestleMania. They should have had Io in the chamber, winning the chamber, and then you have Rhea and Io, and then you have Bianca go on to feud with Jade Cargill. But instead, they wanted to go a different direction. And also, I have been hearing so many fans say that the overseas crowds booing Bianca Belair are the R word. And they believe that the American soil wouldn't boo Bianca Belair. All the American fans would not boo Bianca. The American fans love Bianca Belair. They wouldn't boo her. It's only the overseas people that don't like. It's only people across different countries that don't like Bianca Belair. Monday Night Raw was in the United States of America, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the crowd booed Bianca and cheered Rhea and Io. So, where's your excuse now? So what's going to be the excuse now? The boos were piped in. It was fake noise. Oh, those boos were just fake piped in noise. I think it's time for the fans to finally accept that the fans are tired of Bianca Belair. They are. They're not booing her because they're the R word. As I've explained many times already, it's never been about race. It's never been about race. It's never been about the color of their skin. The fans are tired of Bianca Belair because it's been the same old nonsense with her. Bianca should have been the one revealed as Jade Cargill's attacker instead of Naomi. I'm sorry. It should have been Bianca instead of Naomi. But instead, Triple H is going down the path that Vince McMahon used to do and refuse to turn someone heel. Remember when Vince refused to turn Roman heel? It feels like Triple H is now doing this exact thing with Bianca. He's trying to make everybody else seem like the bad guy. Naomi being the bad guy to fight Jade Cargill instead of Bianca. Trying to make Io and Rhea feel like the heels instead of Bianca. When the fans would rather cheer for Io and Rhea over Bianca. The fans are tired of it. The fans are tired of the same old crap with Bianca. And it's time to turn Bianca heel. It's time. Triple H cannot make the same mistake Vince did. Do not be like Vince and refuse to turn someone. And I know people say, well, Bianca's an influence for a lot of young kids. You can't turn someone who is beloved by the younger community. Bayley was loved by the younger community when she did her little Bayley hugger Bayley stuff. She became a heel. John Cena, the biggest example of catering to kids with the whole Make-A-Wish campaign that he did. He's a heel. I don't understand this whole excuse of, this person caters to kids, so you can't turn them heel. I don't get that excuse. Bianca needs to be a heel. She needs to be a heel. 2025 needs to be the year she becomes a heel. If the fans are getting tired of her as a babyface, it's time to make the change. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with the color of her skin. People are just tired of it. I hate when people try to throw different reasons to why Bianca is being booed. Why don't you just realize that the fans are tired of her? It's the same old bullcrap with her, and the fans are getting tired of it. We got tired of Super Cena. We got tired of Super Roman. Why is no one tired of Super Bianca? I don't understand it. It's time for Bianca to turn heel. Bianca should not win this match. Bianca should not win this triple threat. I'd be fine with either Io or Rhea winning. And then you have Bianca Belair turn heel on the two baby faces. You have her beat them both up after the match. Out of anger and frustration. The fans are not going to boo Io or Rhea. They're not. They're not going to boo them. But people said the American fans are the smart ones and they wouldn't boo Bianca, and they did boo her. And they rather cheer for Io and Rhea. Which is why I'm saying this WrestleMania match should just be Rhea and Io, and Bianca should be feuding with Jade instead of Naomi. We get AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Who wants to see this match? Really? Is there anyone on the planet that when Logan Paul was signed to WWE, was there anyone in the world that says, yes, I want to see Logan Paul versus AJ Styles? Logan Paul being in the ring with people like Roman, Seth, AJ, Randy, Kevin, and all these big names honestly makes me sick. Logan Paul is the modern day Baron Corbin. He's the modern day Baron Corbin. No one likes this guy. He's insufferable. He's boring. He's just genuinely unlikable. He's genuinely unlikable. And they're having him beat guys that he doesn't deserve wins over. Like how when Baron Corbin used to get wins over people that he didn't need wins over. He's the modern day Baron Corbin. He is Triple H's Baron Corbin. Logan Paul does not belong on WrestleMania, especially against a guy like AJ Styles. He doesn't. AJ Styles should be in a more meaningful rivalry instead of Logan Paul. This match belongs on Monday Night Raw, if I'm being honest. This match belongs on an episode of Monday Night Raw instead of WrestleMania. This is genuinely a terrible match for AJ Styles to have. And I swear to God, if they have AJ Styles lose to Logan Paul, then it just shows you that he truly is the modern day Baron Corbin. He is the new Baron Corbin. He is Triple H's Baron Corbin. United States title, LA Knight, taking on Jacob Fatu for the United States title. Now, while I am glad that the title's being defended at WrestleMania, does LA Knight and Jacob Fatu feel like a WrestleMania match? I don't really think so. But, it is nice to see the US title being defended at WrestleMania. I don't remember if it was defended last year. I don't remember. I don't remember. But regardless, Yes, it is nice to see this title defended at WrestleMania, but this just does not feel like a WrestleMania match to me. This more feels like a B-level pay-per-view kind of match, but I feel like this is where they're gonna crown Jacob Fatu as a champion. I feel like this is where Jacob will win his first major title, and then they're gonna set up a match between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa for that title. That's what I feel like what's going to happen. So unfortunately for Mr. LA Knight, I don't really see him retaining unless Solo and Tama decide to screw Fatu over, which I highly doubt. Then you got Liv and Raquel taking on the gauntlet match winners. Apparently there's a gauntlet going to be happening on SmackDown. And I saw the listing of the women's teams that'll be competing there, and a lot of them are really bad outside of Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. And I'm thinking to myself, why Lyra Valkyria and Bayley? Like, I don't understand that. It feels like Lyra and Bayley are going to win this gauntlet. And I'm not entirely a big fan of that. Like, Lyra's the Women's Intercontinental Champion. She should be defending the belt at WrestleMania, not fighting for another title. Unless they're going to turn Bayley heel, which I highly doubt, because Triple H doesn't like Bayley being a heel, because it's kind of ironic that when Triple H took over, Bayley turned face. Same thing with Sami Zayn. So I very much doubt that. But still, I just think it's kind of silly that this match just doesn't feel like a WrestleMania match. This really doesn't. Yes, it's great that this match is being put on the card for Mania, but again, it just doesn't feel like a Mania match. Especially the teams that Liv and Raquel could potentially face. Could you have imagined if TNA's Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance or Spitfire were a part of the gauntlet? Or a few teams from NXT like Sol Ruka and Zarya? Like, it would have been better than than the teams that they put out. No one believes that any of those teams outside of Lyra and Bayley are gonna win. Jade and Naomi. Well, it is great that these two will be having a match at WrestleMania. Again, I can't help but to think that this really should have been Bianca's spot. As I already talked about before, this really should have been Bianca's spot and not Naomi. So, it's unfortunate, but it feels like Jade Cargill will obviously win this match. And yeah, Naomi's just there to put over Jade. It feels like, a bigger name like Bianca Belair would have benefited more from beating Bianca. Like, Jade would have benefited more from beating Bianca Belair clean instead of Naomi. Like, for example, Rhea's gotten more popular because she beat Charlotte and Becky Lynch at back-to-back WrestleManias. She beat Charlotte clean at WrestleMania 39, and then she beat Becky Lynch clean at WrestleMania 40. Rhea is way more popular because of those two victories. Jade would become way more popular if she beat someone like Bianca Belair clean at WrestleMania instead of someone like Naomi. Not knocking Naomi in any way. Naomi is a fantastic wrestler. She's one of my favorite wrestlers. But I just don't think Jade beating Naomi is going to be that big of a deal than if it was Jade beating Bianca. Which again, I will always believe Bianca should have been the one revealed as Jade's attacker and not Naomi. Fatal 4-way for the IC title, Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic. Now, I'm fine with this match being on the card, same reason as the US title. Nice to see these titles actually being defended at WrestleMania. But again, I can't help but to think that this really should be Penta's victory here. I think this would be a big match for Penta to win. Personally, I wouldn't care if Finn, Penta, or Braun won, as long as it's not Dominic. As long as it's not Dominic that wins, I don't really care who wins out of the three guys. I'd be fine with Finn being the champion. I'd obviously be fine with Penta, and I'd be fine with Braun Breaker retaining. I just don't want Dominic to be the champion. But watch WWE give it to Dominic because Triple H likes to make terrible decisions. And now the final match we're going to be talking about, and kind of the biggest reasons for why I made this video, as this is the biggest match that screams does not belong on WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americo, aka Chad Gable under a mask. Who in the right mind believes this match is WrestleMania material? Who in the right mind believes, yes, this match belongs on WrestleMania? Who? Who believes this match belongs on WrestleMania? I sure as hell don't. This screams Monday Night Raw. Same thing with AJ Styles and Logan Paul. This should not be on the WrestleMania card. It's atrocious. This WrestleMania card just looks absolutely atrocious, which is the reason why I made this video. I always hear people say, well, the matches are going to be good, so it doesn't really matter. To me, it does matter. To me, it matters because do some of these matches belong on WrestleMania? Rey versus Chad doesn't. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul surely doesn't. Liv and Raquel versus the winner of this gauntlet really doesn't belong on Mania. I'm sorry, Liv fans, but Liv is only on this card because she wasn't on last year's card, and they're only putting her on there to make up as a reward, and they're only putting her on here as a reward for her hard work last year. That's the only reason why. I don't even believe Liv and Raquel's match should even be on this card. Like again, LA Knight and Jacob Fatu, I could let slide. But again, WrestleMania is supposed to be the biggest pay-per-view of the year, and you're barely putting any big matches on there. The only big matches on this card I see is the Roman Triple Threat, Cody Cena, Rhea's Triple Threat, and that's really about it. Like, they're the only three matches I really believe are big matches. Gunther and Jay doesn't feel like a big match. Tiffany and Charlotte doesn't feel like a big match. A lot of the other matches are just filler. This does not feel like a good WrestleMania card. This might be one of the first WrestleManias since maybe COVID Mania where both nights of WrestleMania are going to be very weak. And that is just my opinion. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the thumbs up. Give me your thoughts down below. And I will see you all next time.